It is January 25th, 2021, and it is Robbie Burns Day and all things Scottish. We'll have a packed show, as you could see the program there, hopefully, give you an indication of all the guests that we have lined up for tonight. The video is live today and will also be edited by me and posted before the weekend coming up. So if you're watching this and it's not January the 25th, then it'll be another day and you'll be able to enjoy Scottish music as much as possible. going to play a song for you right now that Robert Burns wrote in 1791. In fact, he wrote 3 versions of this song and published them all. It's kind of interesting, 3 versions of the same thing. The third one, so it's called The Banks of Doon, but the third one is often called by the first line of this song, which is Ye Banks and Braes of Bonnie Doon. So I'll sing a little bit of that, and this is the angle we're going to get after all. Aha. Thank you so much for this comment here. Ah, dear. You wouldn't believe the time I put in to get this organized. So clearly I need a real camera. Ah, there you go. And a better computer and so forth. Okay, everybody. Here we go. Ye banks and braes of Bonnie Doon, how can ye bloom sae fresh and fair? How can ye chant, ye little birds, and I sae weary, full of care? Ye break my heart, ye warming birds, that wanton through the flowery thorn. Ye mind me of departed joy, departed never to return. Oft hae I roved by Bonnie Doon to see the rose and woodbine twine, and ilka bird sang of its love, and fondly said it I am mine. With lights and hearts I pulled a rose full sweet upon its thorny tree, and my false lover stole my rose, but I left the thorn with me. Moving on. In 1791, Robert Burns, if you saw the little video at the beginning, hopefully, the video I put together about his life, I mentioned that in there that he was also a political person. And I've got a little note here. The song I'm going to sing, I learned from listening to Steel Eye Span growing up. It was pretty cool. And it's called Such a Parcel of Rogues. And because it's Robbie Burns night tonight, I probably will roll my R's rather a lot. So Such a Parcel of Rogues was written in reference to the union of Scotland with England, in which many of the Scottish nobility, to their eternal disgrace, absolutely sold their country for paltry bribes. Burns, though living to witness some of the benefits from the union, however, could never contemplate with complacency the loss of his country's independence. So there you go. This is called Such a Parcel of Rogues. And sort of apologies to the English. My folks are from England. So, but again, this is about Scottish tonight. The northern bit of England, Scotland. Okay. Farewell to all our Scottish fame, farewell our ancient glory, farewell even to the Scottish name, say famed in martial story. Now Sacraments o'er the Solway sands, and Tweed runs to the ocean, to mark where England's prodigal stands. Such a parcel of rogues in a nation, seen the day that treason thus could sell us. My own grey head had lain in clay with bruise and loyal Wallace. Now faith and care till my last hour I'll make this declaration. We're bought and sold for English gold. Such a parcel rose in a nation. All right, there you go. Thank you so much. I appreciate those of you who made it to the broadcast here today. We got nice comments. We'll see if we can pop them up here and there. So, welcome again. This is the live stream on January the 25th. We're in the middle of Robert Burns and all things Scottish. There's so much more to come. And enough of me. I'm looking at my program here. I have got... Oh, this is exciting. So we've had bagpipes. Now we're going to have some Scottish dance. And I'm going to let Susan introduce this for you. Miss Susan Nays is the director of Shot of Scotch, Vancouver. You're going to love this. So here you go.
Hi everybody, happy Robbie Burns. My name is Susan Nace and I'm the Artistic Director of Shot of Scotch Vancouver, and we're really excited to be part of this event today to celebrate the great Robbie Burns. We're going to show you a dance called the sword dance to start, and it's a traditional Highland dance. It is danced over two swords and it is said to have been danced before battle. So this would have been danced by the soldiers before they went off to battle, and it was said that if they touched the sword while dancing over top of it, it was a bad sign and that they would be injured during battle. And if they were as unfortunate enough to kick the sword, they could be killed in battle. So luckily for us, we are not going to battle today, but instead we're just going to show you this beautiful dance as part of our celebration to Robbie Burns. Enjoy.
Thank you very much to Shot of Scotch for that wonderful display of sword dance. Right now, I'm going to introduce you to my teammate over here. My music students have all met this guy, and all my music students, by the way, this week have been learning Scottish music. And here he is, the man of the hour. Well, not quite, Robbie Burns, second man of the hour. This is Angus. Angus has got a wee set of pipes. You could actually, if a close-up were possible here, you'd see there's even little holes, little holes here. He's only got 6 holes, so it's more of a whistle than a chanter, which has 9 holes. Angus is going to stay here with me. You probably can't see him now, but that's okay. All right. What I'm going to sing for you now, or with you, because there's a bit of a sing-along chorus, this is called The Northern Lights of Old Aberdeen. And it's just a fun Scottish song, and it happens to be a waltz, which is a nice variety, a different feel, a 3/4. And it was written by Mel and Mary Webb in 1952. And my notes say that they are English and had never visited Aberdeen. So I don't know if they had never visited Scotland at all or just Aberdeen, but it goes to show the power of imagination, and they probably described all the kinds of things they expected it would be, and if we could only ever get there. I have not been to Aberdeen. I have been to Scotland, camping in Edinburgh area and the border area and so forth. There's a lot more to see. I'll one day be able to go back. Well, we have some wonderful photos of Scotland coming up in the program. Okay, so this has a sing-along chorus at home, and the chorus is the beginning of the song, which is The Northern Lights of Aberdeen. If you don't know it, sing along anyway. As I always say in my sing-alongs, you are at home, and barring the neighbors and your pets, you can have as much fun belting out these tunes as much as you want. Another little comment here. There's some students of mine who are learning the whistle and who are going to be performing in Tartan for me tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. All right, here we go. What am I doing here? Okay, enough of that. The Northern Lights of Aberdeen. Little intro. The Northern Lights of old Aberdeen mean home, sweet home to me. The Northern Lights of Aberdeen are what I long to see. I've been a wanderer all of my life, and many's a sight I see. Godspeed the day when I'm on my way to my home in Aberdeen. When I was a lad, a tiny wee lad, my mother said to me, come see the Northern Lights, my boy, they're bright as they can be. She called them the heavenly dancers, merry dancers in the sky. I'll never forget that wonderful sight, they made the heavens bright. Ready? The Northern Lights of old Aberdeen mean home, sweet home to me. The Northern Lights of Aberdeen are what I long to see. I've been a wanderer all of my life, and many a sight I see. Godspeed the day when I'm on my way to my home in Aberdeen. I've wandered many a far off lands and travelled many a mile. I've missed the folk I cherished most, the joy of a friendly smile. It warms up the heart of a wanderer, the clasp of a welcoming hand, to greet me when I return home to my native land. The Northern Lights of old Aberdeen mean home, sweet home to me. The Northern Lights of Aberdeen are what I long to see. I've been a wanderer all of my life, and many's in sight I see. Godspeed the day when I'm on my way to my home in Aberdeen. And since this is where you can see my hands, before we get to this, there's a couple of really interesting facts about, I'm going to come closer, Scotland. Pages and pages, but good news, I'm only going to give you a couple. Now, here's where we have a trivia question. All right, this is a crazy one. What is, no, I'm not going into Monty Python. Don't tempt me. What is, okay, the official animal of Canada. Question, what is the official animal of Scotland? I know it's all remote here, so I don't hear you. What animal is the official? Okay, we don't have all night. The answer, believe it or not, is the unicorn. Evergreen alligators. The unicorn is the official animal of Scotland. I love it. I think that's awesome. And for those of you who remember taking airplanes places, Susan, yes, Shot of Scotch are not only talented dancers, but they're smarty pants as well. And they knew this one. You get a prize that you get to dance on my show. Anyway, so going back to airplanes, yes, the shortest flight in the world, the shortest scheduled flight, something you can buy a ticket for, in other words, is in Scotland. 1.5 miles from Westray to Papa Westray in the Orkney Islands. It takes 1 minute and 14 seconds to fly. I mean, I don't even know if you'd have a table tray to up and down. There you go. And speaking of islands, Scotland has approximately 790, of which 130 are inhabited. When they say inhabited, I'm assuming they mean people. But I imagine that there's, yes, you know what it is. Unicorns are on the other islands. I don't know. I'm very helpful when it comes to information about things like this. Okay, I tell you what, all this singing and all this talking sure makes a gal thirsty. It's time for whiskey tour. I promised you a whiskey tour. Thanks to social distancing, my good friends Allan and Todd couldn't do it together, so that's a good thing for us because now we have two whiskey tours, or two parts. We're going to start off here with Allan McMordie. Get your glasses, get your whiskeys.
Hello, my name's Allan. Thanks, Michelle, for having me on your program. I'm often asked, what's my favorite whiskey, or what's the best whiskey to buy? Surely a 25-year-old whiskey is better than a 10-year-old whiskey. Well, that's not really true. The best whiskey is the one that you like, and there's so many around, so many different tastes. I'm sure you'll find one or two that become your favorites. One of my favorites is this 10-year Talisker from the Isle of Skye up in the northwest corner of Scotland. It has a nice smoky nose, so when you bring it up, the glass up to your nose, you get that nice smoke. As you taste it on the palate, it's peaty and oily, and the great thing about it is that it's really long finish. You'll still be tasting that Talisker an hour later. It's a fabulous, nice single malt, reasonably priced. But it's not something that I would drink all night or start the evening with. It's just too strong. In fact, when my friends and I sit down for a whiskey tasting, we take a look at what has been brought to the table, and we map out an order that we want to taste them. Maybe starting with the sweeter ones and moving up to the more peaty ones. You start with too strong or too peaty a whiskey at the beginning, that'll kill your taste buds for all the nice, sweeter, more subtle ones later. So you should have a few whiskeys around to taste. Let's say you have a bunch of people over and you don't know them very well. You don't know whether they are familiar with single malt whiskeys. You might want to have a Glenfiddich or a Glenlivet to bring out after dinner and serve to them. That way they'll get a taste of some single malt whiskeys, and you might gain a few points with some friends or new people at work. Now, if you have a new friend and you're pouring them a wee dram and you want to introduce them to the world of single malt whiskey, you want to ease them in and not hit them hard with something like a Talisker. For that, I would suggest something like this Auchentoshan 3-wood. This is a lowland single malt, so it's from the lowland part of Scotland, and it has been matured in 3 different types of casks. 2 of them used to hold sherry and 1 of them bourbon. So it got transferred from one barrel to another through its aging process over the years that it sat in these casks. It's also triple distilled, once more than most Scotch whiskies. I love how ahead of the times the Scots are. They've been recycling for decades, for centuries. They take the barrels that the Spaniards and the French and the Americans send them full of bourbon and wine and use them to store their whiskey. I can just imagine a couple old Scots standing around thinking, oh, we just made all this whiskey. What are we going to put it in? And they say, well, the Yanks sent us these barrels that had bourbon in them. Let's just put it in those. You can imagine sitting for a few years in some of these casks that used to have sherry or bourbon in them. That taste would work its way into the whiskey. So it imparts some of the taste to those whiskeys. And this is uncommon to be in 3 different types of barrels. Usually it's just in one barrel, but the Auchentoshan 3-wood has spent its years in 3 different types of oak. On the nose, it smells of cooked fruit, sherry, toffee. It has a rum-like quality. And when you taste it, it's nice and rich. Liqueur cherries in dark chocolate are what you'll taste. Some more sherried fruit, ripe dark fruits, just like if you can imagine a black forest cake. So it's nice, sweet, chocolatey malt. And the finish, it's thick and dark, toffee notes, and chewy wooded notes. And finally, when you have some really good friends over, those who've had some single malt whiskey before and know the complex tastes, you might want to offer them something like this, Lagavulin. This one happens to be the Distiller's Reserve, but there's a number of good Lagavulin expressions. The Lagavulin distillery is on the island of Islay off the west coast of Scotland. Often mispronounced. It's spelled Islay, and it's pronounced Islay, not Islay or anything like that. Islay has probably a dozen really good distilleries on it, but that's where the real peaty, smoky whiskeys come from. This Lagavulin is, once it's opened, you'll be able to tell from across the room. It's so strong. Its nose, it's one of the smokiest noses from any whiskey. It's very big and very concentrated. You'll pick up iodine, sweet spices, mature sherry, and creamy vanilla. On the palate, it's very thick and rich. Massive mouthful of malt and sherry with good fruity sweetness. But it's also got this wonderful, big, powerful peat and oak taste to it. And the finish, long, spicy finish, figs, dates, peat smoke, and vanilla. you'll be tasting this long after you've gone home. It's a fabulous single malt from Islay that you'll want to offer to your best of friends. Thanks.
Thanks, Allan McMordie. Now, in all the excitement of moving things around, I got to get my whiskey. I've even got a little tartan tray here. This is my favorite kind of whiskey. It's called Drambuie, and I sure need one. Oh, my good friend used to say, I'd say, "What is Drambuie?" And he would say, "Oh, it's Scottish cough medicine." The actual bottles, I never paid attention until this week. Whoop. Don't spill it. It says, the Isle of Skye liqueur. It's a unique blend of aged Scotch whiskey, heather, honey, herbs, and spices. All right, let's put it down before I knock it over. Oh, all that whiskey makes me think how thirsty I am. One of the most famous characters in Scotland was an older fellow who, by the name of Sir Harry Lauder. Sir Harry Lauder lived between 1870 and 1950. In fact, he was a music hall and vaudeville theater singer and comedian. And the old recordings, I think, were even on wax, like very old recordings. You could hear him giggling and drinking in the studio. Can you imagine? Oh, roaming in the gloaming on the bonny banks of Clyde. Roaming in the gloaming with me lassie by my side. When the sun has gone to rest, that's the time that I like best. Oh, it's lovely roaming in the gloaming. I've seen lots of bonny lassies travelling far and wide, but my heart is centred new on funny Kate McBride. And although I'm no chap that blows a word away, I'm surprised at sometimes that all I got to say are roaming in the gloaming on the bonny banks of Clyde. Roaming in the gloaming with me lassie by my side. When the sun is gone to rest, that's the time that I like best. Oh, it's lovely roaming in the gloaming. Last night after strolling, we got home at 9:30. Sitting by the kitchen fire, I asked her to be mine. And when she promised, I got up and danced a heel and fling. I've just been to the jeweler and I picked a nice wee ring. Oh, roaming in the gloaming on the bonny banks of Clyde. Roaming in the gloaming with me lassie by my side. When the sun had gone to rest, that's the time that I like best. Oh, it's lovely roaming in the gloaming. Roaming in the gloaming on the bonny banks of Clyde. Roaming in the gloaming with me lassie by my side. When the sun has gone to rest, that's the time that I like best. Oh, it's lovely roaming in the gloaming. Bonnie Charlie's knew a wall safely o'er the friendly main. Many's a heart would break in two, should he no come back again. Will you no come back again? Will you no come back again? Better love you cannot be. Will you no come back again? Many's a gallant soldier fought, many's a gallant chief did fall. Death itself was dearly bought. Oh, for Scotland's King and Lord, will you no come back again? Will you no come back again? Better love you cannot be. Will you no come back again? Oh, will you no come back again? Will you no come back again? Better loved you cannot be. Will you now come back Just a wee drop and Doris, just a wee drop, that's all. Just a wee rock and Doris before we gang a walk. There's a wee waffy waiting in the wee butt and Ben. If you can say it's a probric moonlight, will you not? You can. There's a good old Scottish custom that has stood the test of time. It's a custom that's been carried out in every London clime, where brothers Scots forgather, it's aye the usual thing. For just before they say goodnight, they fill their cups and sing. Just a wee and Doris, just a wee drop, that's all. Just a wee and Doris before we gang a walk. There's a wee wifey waiting in the wee butt and Ben. If you can say it's a probric moonlicht, will you right? You can. I like a man that is a man that's straight and fair, a sort of man that will and can in all things do his share. I like a man, a jolly man, the sort of chap you know, the chap that slaps your back and says, "Come on, Jack, before you go." Just a wee rock and Doris, just a wee drop, that's all. Just a wee rock and Doris before we gang a walk. There's a wee wifey waiting in the wee butt and Ben. If you can say it's a probric moonlight, will you not? You can. If you can say it's a probric moonlight, will you not? You can. If you can say it's a probric moonlight, will you not? You can. Oh, right, pass the Scottish cheese, please. Oh, yes, and after all that silliness, I thought the best part of this program, to follow silliness, is beauty. And for that, we have Mr. Brian Flanagan.
I'll never blame my past. Fare thee well, our first and fairest. Fare thee well, thou best and dearest. Thine be dear joy and treasure, peace, enjoyment, love, and pleasure. A fond kiss and then we sever. A farewell, alas, forever. Deep in heart, long tears, I pledge thee. Warring sighs and groans, I'll wait thee. Happy Robbie Burns to everyone, and I hope to see you soon.
Robert Burns influenced many people with his poetry, not just all kinds of poets, by the way, including these famous names: William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and Percy Bysshe Shelley. Very famous poets were inspired by Robert Burns. But he also inspired others. So there's a song I'm about to sing here called Coming Through the Rye. Coming Through the Rye inspired, the video earlier on, which you, again, if you didn't see in this show, will also be in the video, was a lovely 3-minute video I put together with bits of Robert Burns information. He inspired J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye, 1951, from this song, Coming Through the Rye. John Steinbeck wrote Of Mice and Men in 1937, and that takes its title from the Burns poem I referenced earlier, To a Mouse, which contains the line, "The best laid schemes of mice and men gang oft ugly." And it could be the theme of my show today. Okay, now apparently Michael Jackson was also a big fan of Robbie Burns, and Bob Dylan specifically said regarding My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose, which is coming up, he cited that as his greatest source of inspiration. And one of the more interesting characters actually related to Robbie Burns, found out in his 20s, a guy by the name of Tommy Hilfiger. Tommy's grandmother, the grandmother of his elderly aunt was the granddaughter of Burns's brother. It's one of those family things. Anyway, they are related, and he said he didn't know this, and when he found out, his family told him, well, we didn't want to discuss it because Robert Burns was said to be a womanizer and a boozer, so they were embarrassed to be related to him, and then nobody told him. Once he found out, he left no time at all adding plaid to his clothing line. This is why you see the plaid with the Tommy Hilfiger logo. And the Met Gala in 2013, the theme was punk. He and his wife in head-to-toe tartan. Now, for all you know, I have head-to-toe tartan because you can't see all the rest of me. Ah, Jenny's all wet, poor body, Jenny's seldom dry. She draggeth all her petticoaty, coming through the rye. Coming through the rye, poor body, coming through the rye. She draggeth all her petticoaty, coming through the rye. Gin a body, meet a body, coming through the rye. Gin a body, kiss a body, need a body cry. Coming through the rye, poor body, coming through the rye. She draggeth all her petticoaty, coming through the rye. Gin a body, meet a body, coming through the glen. Gin a body, kiss a body, need the world ken. Coming through the rye, poor body, coming through the rye. She draggeth all her petticoaty, coming through the rye. This is a good song for me because I'm from Saskatchewan. Shout out to the prairie people. Under the snow, the rye it's there somewhere. Gin a body, meet a body, coming through grain. In a body, kiss a body, the things a body's ain. Coming through the rye, poor body, coming through the rye. She dragged all her petticoatie, coming through the rye. Ilka lassie has her laddie, name they say hey I. Yet all the lads they smile on me when coming through the rye. Coming through the rye, poor body, coming through the rye. I drag it all me petticoatie, coming through the rye. Coming through the rye, poor body, coming through the rye. I drag it all me petticoatie, coming through the rye. You might notice that some of these Burns tunes are in English, but with sort of Scots words, or what we might call brogue. As it turns out, you may not know, Scotland actually has 3 official languages: English, Scottish, and Scots Gaelic, or Scots Gaelic, which only 1% of the population uses. And my understanding is it's different than Irish Gaelic. They may have I'm sure they have a root. My hair is kind of pink and blue, but my next trivia fact is about redheads. Did you know that Scotland has the largest proportion of redheads in the world? Around 13% of the population. I'm going to ship this over to my good friend Jimmy now. Jimmy McWilliams. Jim McWilliams. We call him Young Jimmy because he'll always be young to us.
Bill asked me to salute this haggis by reciting the famous address to the haggis by the immortal Robbie Burns. I'm also a fan of Burns' A Man's a Man for All That poem. So I know Rab will not disapprove of having an old codger reciting his masterpiece, speaking Scottish with a Saskatchewan accent. So, fair foe, your honest sonsy face, great chieftain of the puddin' race, aboon 'em all you take your place, painch, tripe, or thirm, will you word you love prayer as long as my arm. The groan and trencher there you fill, your hurdy's like a distant hill. Your pin would help the men to mill if time of need. While through your pores the dew's distilled like amber bead. His knife, see rustic labor night, and cut you ready slight. Trenching your gas and entrails bright like ony ditch. And then, oh, what a glorious sight, warm reeking, rich. Then, horn for horn, they stretch and strive. He'll take the hindmost, out may drive. The hollow, he'll swell kites alive, are bent like drums. An old good man may's like to ride, he thanketh hums. You is there that are his French ragout, or olio that was star soup, the fricassee would make a spew in perfect stoner? Look down with sneer and scornful view on such a gimmer? Ha! Poor devil, see more his trash, as feckless as a withered rash. His spindle shank, ha! A good whiplash. His knave, a bit. To bloody flood or field to dash, oh how unfit. The mark rustic, haggis fed, the trembling earth resounds his tread. clapping his wally navel blade, he'll make it whistle, and legs, and arms, and heads will sned, like taps of thistle. Ye powers, they make mankind your fair, and dish them out their bill of fare. Old Scotland, once they stinking wear the jots and leathers, but wish her grateful prayer, gie her a haggis. To the haggis.
Thanks, Jimmy. I've only got one thing to say to that.
Get your haggis right here. Chopped heart and lungs, boiled in a wee sheep's stomach. Tastes as good as it sounds.
Tastes as good as it sounds. All right. We're going to slow things down for a minute here and sing one of Scotland's most famous songs. This is a song I often get requested to play, and one facility that I performed at was actually a rehab facility, not even a seniors facility per se. And there was a fellow there who was incommunicative and kept to himself. He was also in a wheelchair. He was recuperating from I don't know what. This is 2 years ago. But I remember this story, and I feel like sharing it just briefly because I had a mixed show. It was just summertime, so I had no real theme. I was just playing all kinds of songs, and I like to throw in some Celtic music. So I sang Loch Lomond, which is what we're going to do next. And they couldn't believe it. I didn't know what was going on because I don't know these folks, but they came and told me after that he was singing and knew all the words, and he never opens his mouth. Normally, he was just a quiet guy and kept to himself. So, yeah, that was kind of meaningful. And I have had other people tell me this was a song their grandmother used to sing to them, and then they had tears in their eyes. So, Hanky's all aboard as I sing my sort of personal solo version. There is a wonderful version that Blackthorn does, and I encourage you to go check out blackthornband.com for the music that you just heard there with Jim, as well as our other albums and other works that we've done. But I don't have them with me, and that's thanks to pandemics and stuff. That's why we're doing these shows by ourselves. So, all right, so let's do some Loch Lomond. Loch is a lake. Loch Lomond is Scotland's largest lake. By yon bonny banks and by yon bonny brae, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where me and my true love would ever want to be, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Oh, ye'll tak the high road and tak again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. 'Twas ere that we parted by yon shady glen, on the steep, steep side of Ben Lomond, where in deep purple hue the Highland hills we view, and the moon shining bright in the gloaming. Oh, ye'll take the high road, and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland before ye. For me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. The wee birdies sing and the wildflowers spring, and in sunshine the waters are sleeping. But the broken heart will ken no second spring again, though the woeful may cease frae the grieving. Oh, ye'll take the high road, and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland before ye. For me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. I know you were singing along with me there. Thank you to your comments. Unlike my Christmas broadcast, I'm not having as much time to check out some of the wonderful things that you are saying here. Thank you so much for your comments. So it would be remiss of me to not have a little bit of poetry. My original plan was to have a bit more poetry, but as it is, we have a lot of wonderful things to pack into the show, and still more to come. But I will read my favorite poem. My favorite Robbie Burns poem is an epitaph that he wrote in 1784, and I think he was having a bit of a day. So here we go. This is titled On a Henpecked Country Squire. As Father Adam first was fooled, a case that's still too common, here lies man a woman ruled, the devil ruled the woman. Now, I don't take offense to that. I say, good on you, lassie, whoever you were. Give him some trouble. That's what I say. Okay. We are going to take our second bit of our whiskey tour now. With us is with my friend Todd Wong. Some of you know him as Toddish McWong, but he will introduce himself and get your other whiskey glass or bottles or whatever you have handy ready to enjoy another very interesting tasting.
Hello there. My name is Todd Wong, often known as Toddish McWong, because I host a Robbie Burns Chinese New Year dinner here in Vancouver, Canada. It's called Gong Haggis Fat Choi. And at Gong Haggis Fat Choi, we want to make sure that we have Scotch whiskey. And I always make sure there is a bottle for the musicians, and we often have, sometimes we have tastings for our guests. So one year we had famous grouse. And what do you put in famous grouse? They put in the Macallan as a single malt, one of the Scotch whiskies that make up the famous grouse. The Macallan is very lovely Scotch whiskey. Is one of the most famous. This is a 12-year. It's called the Double Cask. Not put into ex-bourbon bottle cask as it normally is, but look at that color. Lovely amber. It's been put into European oak and European sherry cask. So let's have a smell here. It's rich, it's sweet, smells like ginger and fruit, and I like ginger. My goodness. Here we go. Let's have a taste here. Sweet and then tart, just like cherries, and oak spice, maybe a bit of tannins. Oh my goodness. One of the things we like to do is put a few drops of water in here, and this is a trick I learned when I was in Leith, Scotland, at the Single Malt Whiskey Tasting Society, and it does make everything smoother. Lightly peated. This is not a heavy Scotch whiskey. It's light. What did I say? It was space side. So a lot of sweetness comes out from the space sides. Not heavy in iodine or peat like on the coast, but the Macallan is a lovely, lovely Scotch whiskey. And a few years ago, I went to a Macallan tasting where we tasted like 8 different Macallans. Very strong, heavy, different colors. It was lovely, but I think for best value, you know, this Macallan double will be wonderful. So moving on to up to the Highlands, where almost every other distillery is named Glen something or other. This is the Glenmorangie. This is one of my favorites. I'm going to put it into a Glencairn glass here. And lovely golden color. Look at this. And this is called the Nectar d'Or, which in French means the nectar of gold. So let's have a smell here. Oh, the Glencairn glass really holds the fumes of the alcohol. Oh, you can't have too much of that. But it is sweet right away. You can smell that. And this one has been in ex-bourbon oak casks, and then for an extra 2 years put in French dessert wine, Sauterne dessert wine cask. So it gives it an extra special something or other. So it feels like it's just dancing on my tongue. It's alive, it's sparkly. I really like this Glenmorangie. Glenmorangie, of course, is known for an orange taste, citrus, fruit forward in its whiskey. And the Sauterne French wine casks give it a special sweetness. And I also liked the Glendronach Sauterne cask I bought for my birthday a few years ago. But this is something special. I like it a lot. It's a nice lingering finish. It's not heavy, not peaty, overly peaty, or all that stuff that you find on the coast. Okay, where's the next one? So from Speyside, we're to the Highlands. We're going up to the Outer Islands, way up to the Orkneys. Now, Highland Park is also a standard that a lot of people will have. This one is special because it's a 16-year-old finished in Rioja Spanish cask. So Rioja sherry, I imagine, and twisted tattoo. So it's been designed by a special tattoo artist for the design. Look at that finish. Oh, golden, yellow, amber. I can smell the sweetness in here, and it smells like fresh fruit. It smells like honey. Mmm. 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 Creamy and rich. Mmm. Deep, like a berry pie. Whoa. Definitely dancing on my tongue. I want to keep more of this. This has been actually one of my favorites over the last 2 years. It came out just about 2 years ago. And part of it is with whiskeys, they'll finish it in different types of barrels. So we've finished this one in sherry cask. This one was finished in French wine Sauterne cask. This is also finished in Roja sherry cask. So different ways, different expressions from different distilleries. This has been wonderful. Thank you, Michelle, for inviting me to be with you. Thank you.
I did promise to play one of the unofficial anthems for Scotland. Scotland doesn't have an official national anthem. It has 3 unofficial anthems, Scots Way and The Flower of Scotland, and this third one, which you have heard many times if you've ever been near bagpipes, and maybe not known that's what that the title is, Scotland the Brave. And maybe you even then didn't know that there are lyrics to this song. There's 3 verses. I'm going to do 2 of them. And this is the song I've had my students learning this week. If they're still up, if they're still watching, Angus has been helping them all week. Hark when the night is falling, hark, hear the pipes a-calling, loudly and proudly calling down through the glen. There where the hills are sleeping, now feel the blood a-leaping, high as the spirits of the old Highland men. Towering and gallant fame, Scotland, my mountain hame, high may your proud standard gloriously wave. Land of my high endeavour, land of the shining river, land of my heart forever, Scotland the brave. High in the misty Highland, out by the purple islands, brave are the hearts that beat beneath Scottish skies. Wild are the winds to meet you, staunch are the friends to greet you, kind as the love that shines from fair maidens' eyes. Towering in gallant fame, Scotland, my mountain hame, high may your proud standard gloriously wave. Land of my high endeavour, land of the shining river, land of my heart forever, Scotland the brave. And just out of time, courtesy, I didn't do the 3rd verse, but I had to laugh at the 3rd verse because it says something along the lines of being on a beautiful beach in tropical areas, that Scottish people are sad and miss the rain. And I thought, I don't know if that's altogether true. Perhaps somebody from England who'd never been to Aberdeen or so forth had written that verse. I don't know. When we were camping in Edinburgh, I remember I was 11, and I remember 2 things. Rain, 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 and midges, midges, midges. But it was beautiful. Of course it was beautiful. Actually, I had one more bit of, where's my notes? One more bit of a little bit of trivia. Did you know that the city of Edinburgh, of course, it's the capital of the country of Scotland, was the very first country in the whole world to have its own fire brigade. And one other of the interesting little things I discovered was that Scotland is home to Europe's oldest tree. All right, just before we get to the dancers, I'm going to take a quick moment here. I have a little graphic. Let's see if that works. There we go. Yes, I mean, I know today's been a little bit exciting, but in generally speaking, those of us who are trying to organize our YouTube channel are always talking about liking and subscribing and that kind of thing. So the liking, it means that you've liked the video, and that just goes to show to the creators that people are out there who actually appreciate it. Subscribe means you're going to join to my channel and be able to see the videos more easily, and even more exciting, this bell button. there's a little graphic of that hand. When you click the bell button, it gets those little like ringer lines on the side to show that means that YouTube will pop up with a cute little red 1 when there's a new video from somebody you subscribe to. And I subscribe to a couple of channels, and when they have a new video, I'm very excited to see the little 1. None of this will break your computer or affect you by giving you weird emails or something. So go ahead and do all of those 3 things for me if you want to. And speaking of email, there's my email address here under the little donations section. I made a little graphic of a little piano there. PayPal.me or eTransfer, or if you want to be on my emailing list, there's my email address. But a whole year ago, we all started, I guess this is sort of when it all started, but when we all started losing work because we couldn't perform live, it was about mid-March. And that's a long time to go without basically almost no performances. Some of us are able to teach, and some of us have to think up other ways and doing our very best to do so in order to reach the music to you. And that's through videos and through this live stream idea, which there you go. Donations will go towards helping me get the gear I need for this studio. It's just a matter of money and time, sort of putting it together. And I have committed to doing my best job. And so that's what I want for you guys, is so that you can join in these things and really enjoy them. Okay, we are now going to go back to the dancers. Shot of Scotch has done another wonderful video for us of some other different dances. It's really exciting, so enjoy.
So it's time to talk about the man of the hour. It's time to toast to Robert Burns and why we're all here today celebrating. So the brilliant poet had so many wonderful works, and this next dance that you're going to see is done to one of his most beautiful poems, done to the ballad of My Love is Like a Red, Red Rose. And it's another original Shot of Scotch choreography. We're really excited to share it with you. And I do hope that you have a little something to toast to the bard with, because I've got my little glass here. So cheers to Robert Burns.
My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. is like a melody that's sweetly played in tune, and fair art thou, my bonny love, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas get dry. Though 'twere 10,000 miles, my dear, though 'twere 10,000 miles, oh, I will love thee still, my dear, though 'twere 10,000 miles. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like a melody that's sweetly played in tune.
Before I say the thank yous, we are all going to sing together one more time. The last song of the show was going to be Robbie Burns' song, his most famous song. Actually, I had a fun fact about him. Where is it now? Ah, yes. This little song here is called Auld Lang Syne, as you know from New Year's Eve. But did you know that it is one of the three most recognized songs in the English language? The top three. And I don't know what the order is, although I would suggest that this is the number one. And it is Robbie Burns' birthday. I wish I had a little hat. Oh, Angus is. There we go. What you doing, buddy? There you go. I'm wrecking my hairdo. Whatever. So Robbie Burns' birthday. Happy birthday. Number two most famous song is For He's a Jolly Good Fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. And Robbie Burns. Make it work with the theme. Okay. So the third most famous song in the English language is Auld Lang Syne. Turns out there's at least two melodies for this. So I'm going to start off in one melody, and then I'm going to transition to the one we all know, where we'll sing Should Old Acquaintance Be Forgotten, the chorus. Then we're going to sing the very last verse, which is about taking your hand, and that's where everybody crosses their arms, and I'll do that right there so you'll know where it is. So that's, if you want to just wait till that spot. And if you're not allowed to touch people who are near, then you can just do this by yourself. And then you can give yourself a hug, because you've been so wonderful tonight. We two have run about the breeze and pulled the gowans fine, but we've wandered many's the weary stead since Auld Lang Syne. We two have paddled in the burn from morning sun till dawn, but the sea between us brought her on since Auld Lang Syne. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind, dear, for auld lang syne. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for auld lang syne. And here's my hand, my trusty friend, and gives the hand of thine. We'll drink a right good willy wah for auld lang syne, for auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for auld lang syne. Last time. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for auld lang syne. Happy New Year! Well, we're getting close to Chinese New Year, so don't forget to check out Gung Haggis Fat Choi. And that leads me to my thank yous. Actually, going in chronological order, we had tonight on this amazing program, January 25th, 2021, live. We had Mr. Colin McWilliams playing the bagpipes, Shot of Scotch dancers, a Shot of Scotch Vancouver, be clear, because there is a branch in New York. They're so awesome, there's two groups. But ours was Shot of Scotch Vancouver. And then, of course, we had Allan McMordie with a whiskey library. Brian Flanagan singing and playing guitar beautifully. Mr. Jim McWilliams, young Jimmy, doing the address to the haggis and the toast to the haggis. And don't worry, he got paid in, well, haggis. From his own freezer. That guy was ready to go. All he needed was my encouragement. And Todd Wong, Gung Haggis Fat Choi. And of course, we ended off again with the Shot of Scotch Vancouver. This is the next one. Yes, I'm going to do it again. What am I, crazy? No, I'm crazy in love. We're going to have a theme each month, at least for the next few months. I've organized myself and some special guests coming up, and who knows what other wonderful things. It's really fabulous to have people with me live. There's a lot of thrills and chills, and your wonderful comments are excellent to share. So that's really valuable. And then, of course, you can go back and watch the video whenever you want. Love is in the air. February the 11th, Thursday, February the 11th. So if I may remind you, if you want to consider this a concert, that you maybe went to a concert, and that the donation that you might feel willing to give had to do with what you felt this concert, what you would have paid if you had come to see all these wonderful artists, my colleagues and friends, a very talented bunch. At a time, if you like, subscribe, and click the bell button, you'll be excited to see the little one appear on your device or whatever, and there you go. So that's it for tonight. I'm going to wrap this up here before I continue blathering on. And anyhow, this guy won't let me get a word in edgeways. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for the comments. I just absolutely love the comments. Just posting a couple here, because they will not appear on the actual video, just so you know. That's why being live is part of a conversation, it's part of the community. Music with Michelle. All right, love you guys, and